Hey everybody, welcome to the Blue Collar Beer Gentleman. I'm Topher and I started this channel because I'm a fan of craft beer, but I'm also on a limited budget. So I wanted to demonstrate it was possible to enjoy good quality beers without having to break the bank. And this is my first Portland review. I did do a cellared beer review previously here in Portland. I don't know if I'm going to be broadcasting that or not. It was the last of the cellared beers. Maybe I'll probably put it up later. I just haven't quite decided yet. But today is the first time that I'll be reviewing an actual Portland beer, or at least a regional beer here in Portland. This is the first time I'll be drinking Northwestern beer here in Portland, and doing a new beer review in Portland. So here we are. I'm in PDX. I'm actually in the Gresham area of Portland. Don't know how much longer I'm going to be here specifically, but probably for a few more months, I would say. And I'm going to be trying, naturally, Oregon and Washingtonian beers. Today's selection is the Blacklight Black Lager. It is from Block 15 Brewing. Block 15 Brewing is family owned and operated, brewer owned and operated since 2008. So we've got 12 years, just over 12 years in the process. I paid $2.75 for this at Cheap Charlie's, which is located in downtown Gresham. I don't have an exact address for you, but that is what I paid. This beer was packaged on the 15th of October, so this is just over 2 months old for a lager. That's not even close to being old. This specific beer, designed in cooperation with OSU's fermentation science program, has dark malts and German hops, with toasted nuts, dark chocolate, and dried fruit flavors, according to the brewer. I want to give you the malt profile because it was, because it was so interesting. Magnum, Mittelfrüh, and Tettinger used Czech Pilsner yeast, which is a very popular yeast to be using for lagers. One of my when I've brewed lagers before, it's my personal favorite to use Pilsner yeast. The grain composition is Pilsner, Munich Light, Carafa Type 3, acidulated, and 2-row. Okay, Blacklight Brewing is out of Corvallis, Oregon, which is not too particularly far from the Portland area. It wouldn't take too long to get there at all. And I think I've given you just about everything. Oh, quick notes about the reviews. 481 of us on Untapped have given it a cumulative score of 3.69. None of my friends have weighed in. Beer Advocate has 5 rankings with an average score of 3.96. This beer has fall availability, and I myself am a big fan of lagers. I like it when somebody does something interesting with a lager. That's the beauty of a lager, is that a lager is so nice and base that you can make some really interesting things. And I've liked red lagers and rye lagers and black lagers, and I'm hoping that I'm going to be enjoying this. As I said, I paid $2.75 for this pint can, so let's go ahead and crack this bad boy open. Going to be using my Teku glass pretty much, well, for a while. That's all you're going to be seeing me drinking out of is the Teku glass. Fortunately, it accommodates pretty much every style out there, and I didn't want to get my other beer glasses out of storage. It was just a little too complicated. So, first thoughts. Okay, lots and lots of carbonation. That's exactly what I would expect from anything that was brewed with Czech Pilsner yeast. Looks like we got a fairly good head on there. This is almost stout looking in its appearance. Or at the very least, maybe not full-fledged stout, but at least porter. Looks like we got some decent lacing going on for beer. Oh, I did forget one thing, and that is the ABV. And the ABV is 5.25. So that comes in maybe a little bit higher on the higher end for a lager, but not so much. The head is fairly resilient. I mean, it did go down, but it's still sticking around there. Quick beard wipe. Didn't get much of anything on that. It's going to have to stick my schnoz directly in. Definitely smelling that Pilsner yeast. Almost a toffee smell coming from this. So I'm really looking forward to it. Cheers. And one of the things that everybody mentioned about this was that there was a sort of almost a bitter aftertaste. I'm noticing that too. Again, the fruits, the flavors that it said I should be tasting are toasted nuts, dark chocolate, and dried fruits. And I'm definitely getting that dried fruit, almost like a mango tanginess at the end. That's what's making this really, really interesting. I'm thinking I'm thinking the reason this didn't get such higher reviews before was simply because of that unique, very bitter hoppy ending. So it's got this roasty, roasted nuts. I'm tasting the toasted nuts. It's got a roasted, almost coffee-like flavor. Dark chocolate. I could kind of see that a little bit. Yeah, I'm thinking more like baker's chocolate rather than dark chocolate. But baker's chocolate, there is that little bitterness at the end, which is kind of why I think more baker's chocolate than dark chocolate. But all in all, this is a really interesting beer, and I gotta say, based upon this, I'm really looking forward to trying other beers from this brewer, Block 15 Brewing. And since they are out of Corvallis, it's going to be fairly easy for me to be getting more beers from this brewer. I'm definitely going to be checking this out. And I'd say for price and ABV and flavor and composition, I'm going to go ahead and give this beer, I think it deserves a 4.0, and it's going to get that extra 0.25 for coming in a can. Anybody who watches this channel with any regularity knows that I'm a big fan of canned beers, and will always give an extra 0.25 to a beer for arriving in a can. Well, and I think, as I said, I think I've really given you every summation of this. I did look, and I saw in my notes that I did in fact get an address for Cheap Charlie's, and that is 67 Northeast Roberts Avenue, and that is in the heart of Gresham. Downtown Gresham, and downtown Gresham is part of the greater Portland metropolitan area. Pardon. Well guys, if you like this video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and until next time, drink good beer and don't break the bank doing it. Cheers!